In a game that the majority of people had already written off, Syracuse performed surprisingly well. From the outset, LSU seemed like the more dominant side. Junior quarterback Eric Dungy's first pass was promptly picked off and brought back to the 1-yard line. Junior running back Darius Geese punched it in on the very next play. Syracuse settled down, responding with 3 points of their own. The defense forced LSU into 3 straight 3-and-outs following the opening touchdown. Their biggest blunder came with 1:15 left in the half, in which they failed to cover Stephen Sullivan over the middle. The Tigers increased their lead to 18 on the second play from scrimmage in the third quarter. On the ensuing drive, Dungy connected with senior receivers Steve Ishmael and Irvin Phillips several times. Phillips capped it off with the team's first touchdown of the game. Syracuse seized momentum from LSU with 3:29 left in the third quarter. It began with the special teams unit pinning a Sterling Hofrichter punt down at the 1-yard line. As soon as senior running back Darrell Williams secured the ball, senior linebacker Paris Bennett wrapped him up in the end zone for a safety. 10 plays later, Dungy added to his stat sheet with a 14-yard scoring run. The defense did their part once more, halting the Tigers deep in Orange territory. Junior cornerback Juwan Dowells picked off true freshman quarterback Miles Brennan at the Syracuse 20. A 22-yard catch by Ishmael brought the Orange to within 2 points. After a failed onside kick attempt, LSU went back up by 9, eating up close to 4 minutes of game time. The Tigers clamped down on defense on Syracuse's final drive for the victory. Game 5 of Year 2. When he sat down with Central New York Magazine in August of 2016, Dino Babers told fans to be patient. The newest head coach explained that the leap in offensive production takes some time to show. Babers said that it usually happens between games 4 and 6 of the second year of the scheme's implementation. If that holds true, North Carolina State should play a part in this progress, just as LSU did. The offensive response to the loss is something to watch tomorrow afternoon. It is important to keep in mind that the Orange have lost key players to injury already, though. The absence of offensive lineman Aaron Roberts has shown in the lack of a running game. On the subject of injuries, the defense suffered another blow last weekend. Sophomore defensive end Kendall Coleman went to the locker room nursing his right foot ankle. North Carolina State made their way down to Tallahassee, Florida to face number 11 Florida State last weekend. They came back with a statement victory over the Seminoles. The Wolfpack defense limited FSU to 1 touchdown and 4 field goals. They also forced a fumble and 4 punts. On the season, they have only allowed 369 rushing yards and 1 score. Syracuse's strength is in the passing game, though, in which North Carolina State has given up 1,039 yards and 7 touchdowns. Ryan Finley and the offense scored 3 touchdowns and converted 2 field goals. Finley has 1,217 yards and 8 touchdowns on 118 completions. The majority of his passes found senior receiver Jalen Samuels with 38 for 3 scores. Junior running back Nyheim Hines gained 99 more yards on 24 carries last weekend. His grand total, thus far, is 296 yards on 63 attempts. Final thoughts. The Wolfpack's record is no fluke. They could have come into tomorrow's contest with a perfect record. Finley's incomplete pass to end their final drive killed their chance to at least send the South Carolina game into overtime. Last year, when North Carolina State traveled to the Carrier Dome, the Wolfpack came away with a 35-20 win. Syracuse's offense was stuffed for 218 total yards. Meanwhile, North Carolina State accumulated 544 yards on the day. Both teams have seemingly matured since November 12, 2016. Expect to see an improvement in the air for the Orange this time around. The Wolfpack should have an easy time containing the run game, just as they did last year.